Morning. So this morning, just thought it'd be quite important to mention about a bit of exercise. I'm not into massive fitness. I'm very fortunate where I live that I've got beautiful Victorian Park, literally 10 seconds from the front door. So most mornings I try and get out as early as I can, have a bit of a wander around, do a different route each day just to keep it sort of interesting. So yeah, so just on the subject of exercise, I think it's very important anyway, just general health. But more than that, I think it's just mental health. I mean, for me, I have suffered from mental health over the years. You know, not going to shy away from that. Very difficult time, probably about 10, 12, 13 years ago. And then I went through counselling back in 2018. Had some talking therapies for like 6 weeks. And I found that was quite a cathartic sort of point in my life. Actually really helped with my mental health. And I think just getting out in nature, I mean, you know, you hear all these TV presenters and people out and about sort of talking about getting out in nature and, you know, fresh air makes a massive difference. I mean, obviously where I live in the northeast, any day of the year you get 4 seasons a day, that's a given. But, you know, what could be more lovely than walking out your front door in just a couple of minutes, not even that. You can have a wonderful, beautiful view like that. And yes, it is an exceptional morning this morning. I think it's about 18 degrees, 7:30. Quite unusual for it to be this warm, but just got to embrace it. And sorry for being completely out of breath. It's just one of those things. But yeah, it's Men's Health Week this week, I believe, as well. I don't really follow the news that much. I think I took the news app off my phone probably 10 months ago. I try not to watch the news. I certainly don't buy any of the shitty papers that are out there that spout just, you know, nonsense. But yeah, just a little short video this morning. Nothing too intense. Probably about an hour walk, maybe 45 minutes. So yeah, not really much else to say this morning. It's just a bit overwhelmed by the weather. Okay, and again, thanks for stopping by and having a watch. Cheers. Getting quite a lot more regular. I think when the mackerels are around, you get more and more dolphins showing their skills as it is. Just as I turned the video off for the last few seconds, there was a splash, as you can imagine. So yeah, so for those geography, this is the mouth of the Tyne. South Shields, which is where I live. We have the famous Herd Groin there, which is synonymous of South Shields. In the distance there is the Tynemouth Priory across the river, where we used to live, just not far from that. Yeah, nice little beach this. It's really busy in the summer. It's a good one to bring your dog, do paddle boarding, and there's a yacht club just round the corner that come out quite regular on the weekends with little toppers. And it's well used. But yeah, so I think I'll just do a little bit more this morning. So yeah, so the park, as I said, the park is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. We are so lucky to have a park like this. Not just in South Shields, but just literally on my doorstep. Like I say, it's my front garden really. I wouldn't want to be doing the lawnmower in it, mind. So it's quite a size. And they've certainly spent some money. They've got to put a lot of thought into it. It gets well looked after. The bowling club down there is the Veterans Bowling Club. I nearly got press ganged into joining it recently, being a veteran myself. I might still join. So I was chatting to some fellas sitting there a few weeks back. It's a beautiful little sun trap, so when the sun comes around in the afternoon, if you get a bit of wind off the sea, that's so sheltered. It's lovely to sit in there and enjoy the sun. But yeah, a really nice bunch of fellas in there, sort of just chatting, passing the time of day, talking about all sorts. And strangely, at the time I hadn't been diagnosed. I was waiting for my test results, and a couple of the fellas were sitting there talking about their prostate, and you know, they were all in their sort of 70s, 80s, and I think they've got one of their senior members is in his 90s, comes bombing along on his chariot every day, and you know, they're all sort of good bit of banter and stuff, which was good to hear. But so yeah, getting out and about in nature has got to be one of the tonics that I really enjoy. And even when it's raining, come out, you know, we're not going to melt. So getting back to my prostate sort of cancer diagnosis, which is the whole part of me doing these video diaries. As I said in my first video, it has been a long, arduous sort of road to getting my results, and it's one of those things you've got to be persistent. You know, I mean, my GP was very understanding. He, you know, listened to me sort of as you would expect most GPs to do, is to listen to you, and you know, explain my symptoms. And you know, he sent me away for a PSA blood test, and as that came back elevated, it then put me into the fast track cancer pathway. So first stage of that was an MRI scan. I had a few issues with the results, as in took them forever and a day to come back to me with a result. I chased them for it, and when I chased them for it, I had to leave a bit of a narky sort of voice message for them to respond and get back to me. And I was away in Spain on holiday, and I got a call out of the blue, and the first thing the fella said to me on the phone is, "That Edwin Lamack?" And I'm like, "No, it's not Edwin Lamack, this is Kevin Lamack." I says, "Where are you calling from?" "Oh, we're calling from the MRI results department." I'm like, "Oh, right, okay." He says, "Oh yeah," he says, I hear you've been chasing us through some your test results." I'm like, "Yeah, damn right I have." I says, "You know, 2 weeks ago I had the MRI, I was told I'd get my results within a week, and here we are, you know, 2 weeks later." So anyway, cut long story short, he says, "Yeah, so we want you to come in for a biopsy on the Sunday." That was on the Thursday, I got the call, and I was flying back on the Friday, so that wasn't so much of a problem. But I suppose if I go back a step, I phoned my GP surgery chasing my results for my MRI. And when I spoke to the receptionist, who books appointments and just fields phone calls, she said, "Oh yeah, we've got your results. Yeah, there's nothing wrong, nothing there, but would you like to come and see a GP about them?" I says, "Well, yeah, GP's medically trained, right?" "Yeah, of course." "Yeah, well, that'd be useful to come and speak to someone who's medically trained." So anyway, I came in, sat with the GP. He said, "I'm not medically trained to give you, to sort of review your results of your scan, because I haven't got a copy of your scan, so I've got a copy of the report." But he said, "Yeah, something has been found." I'm like, oh, okay. So obviously something's been found, you know, next stage is what? So he said, "That's when you need to be chasing your MRI department." And obviously I've sort of gone a bit backwards and forwards with this, apologies for that. And then obviously, you know, made the phone call, did all the chasing myself. And then after that I had after I had my biopsy, which is not the most pleasant experience, to be honest with you. 45 minutes to an hour of really uncomfortable, what's the word I'm looking for? Not pain exactly, but yeah, not the nicest of experience. And I had the biopsy, and then the urologist said to me face to face after it, says, right, it says you'll get your results in 2 weeks, champion, 2 weeks. Give you a discharge letter. Discharge letter says you'll get your results in 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks comes, I phone up, says I'm just checking on my results because I was told I'll be getting the results in 2 weeks. Oh no, it takes 4 weeks. I'm like, 4 weeks? So you told me 2 weeks in my face and you gave me a letter for 2 weeks. You know, I said this is extremely unfair. You know, given you know all the sort of procedures that I'm going through, and obviously the anxiety with it all as well. I says, you know, can you just please just get back to me as soon as you possibly can with it? So about a week later, I got a phone call. Says, yeah, we'd like you to come in and discuss your results. So I came in, saw the nurse, and yeah, here we are. The nurse tells me prostate cancer. So yeah, so when I mentioned Jesse about being a bit of a tumultuous journey, yeah, it hasn't been the best. So, you know, it's one of those. It's just one of those that's not really nice. So thank you very much. I'll speak later. It's just following on from my little rant earlier on. So yeah, so this week's mental health week, we're going to call it. Yeah, so us blokes, we need to get out, do more, be more healthy, be more active, look after yourself, I suppose, is probably the key message in all of this. You know, no one's asking you to go out and do an Ironman. If you want to do that, go and do that. That's fine. That's your gig. No one's going to dish you for that. I might sit on the sidelines and watch. I don't think it's something I can do. But just getting out and just having a nice little walk, I think is, for me, it's a mind reset. I really enjoy being out in the fresh air. As I showed in the last little clip, so I live, you know, less than 2 minutes from a really nice beach in the mouth of the Tyne. And I try and get out, like I said, I try and get out every day, at least once a day. Sometimes take my daughter's dog out, the Luna, little black slaffy she's got. Just didn't fancy taking the dog this morning, a bit too early for waking her up, getting her out. Just fancy coming out solo and just doing a bit of my own sort of concentrating on me, I suppose, being selfish. We're allowed to be selfish. Why aren't we allowed to be selfish, you know? So, like I said, this is me trying to raise awareness as best I can for prostate cancer. There's some great organisations out there. I'm going to do some more sort of little videos on the support I'm getting, the organisations I'm getting support from. My specialist nurse has been absolutely fantastic. My consultant surgeon who I met last week, absolutely superb. Really understanding, really good bedside manner, but quite frank, you know, which is what you want. I don't want it to be fluffed about, you know, poor you know, it is what it is, just got to get on with it. So yeah, so I'm going to share some more information about that as time goes on. And like I said in my first video, it's going to be a bit of a diary, probably a bit of a cathartic diary for me as well. I spoke to a therapist a few weeks back, just before I got my diagnosis, and you know, they said, have I got any hobbies? Because I said I'm really struggling with the anxiety, and I am still struggling with the anxiety. I'm not going to lie on that one. Stress, all those sort of things that go with, you know, life-changing illness. And she said about writing things down, and I thought, well, I'm you know, I'm not great with words. I'm not that good at writing things down. If I write it freehand, it's only me that really could probably understand it and read it. So I bought myself one of these little gizmos, little gimbal, and I thought, well, let's give it a go, give it a try, see what it's like. You know, like I say, I'm not going to be the next big thing on YouTube. Don't proclaim to be that, don't want to be that. I just want to raise awareness for prostate cancer. So you're gonna be bored of me saying this every single time. So if you're over 40, or even if you've got symptoms, you don't have to be over 40. It's more likely over 40 that you would get symptoms. Go and see your GP. Don't dick about, you know. Don't be all macho about it. I wasn't all macho about it. For me, it was, you know, sensible thing to do. Speak to your GP, tell him your symptoms, tell him if you're concerned. If he dismisses it, just ask him, can I just have a PSA test? You know, it's just a blood test, takes seconds to do and not very long to get your results. And then if, like me, your PSA is raised, then, you know, your GP should send you on your way for the next course of investigations. That said, if your PSA is low, you could still potentially, you know, I'm not trying to scaremonger here, you could still potentially have prostate cancer, but that's the GP's job. That's why I don't talk to you about that. Like I said on my first video, I'm not medically trained. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to diagnose anybody. I'm not going to tell you my symptoms, so you go think your symptoms are the same and you've got prostate cancer. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, you know, don't delay to get checked out. Earlier you get checked out, better chance you've got of good treatment, and let's be honest about this, better chance you've got survival. You know, it is cancer after all. It can be quite an aggressive cancer. So there we go. All right, well, thanks for having a listen. I'm going to enjoy the rest of your walk, try and spot some dolphins if I can. They were there, honest. All right, take it easy. Cheers.